All right, now moving on to item number 23, City Council reports. Councilmember Didwell.
Let's see. A couple of weeks ago, I took a tour with Yuba Center Transit. Thank you, Keith. He was here. I think he's already left. But we had about an hour, almost 2 hours of taking a tour of the facility. All the buses. Quite amazed at the luxury of those buses. I'm considering taking it myself to Sacramento a couple of times during the week. Um, the other meeting, I had the local agency formation commission, the LAFCO. We went over the budget, but it was a pretty much straight call there. Last week we also did a welcome reception for Yuba College president. Great guy, just absolutely wonderful reception, and hoping to have some continued relationships and collaborations between the college and some ongoing business opportunities. So we also did the development services director interviews all day last week. Great, impressive candidates. So we're looking forward to seeing what the final selection will be. But wow, what a pool. Great job to our human resources as well as Phil, who helped bring in those candidates. And then we also, in collaboration with our Yuba City Fire, Yuba City Police, Public Health, Yuba City School District, Nancy Auber, Parks and Rec, Brad McIntyre, Ampla Health, and also Sierra Health from Sacramento put on a great kickoff health forum April 15th to actually go along with some of the social hostess ordinance talking about drugs, alcohol, and marijuana, e-cigarettes, and so forth. So it was a great kickoff, great collaboration of some wonderful people to put awareness out there. So thank you for those of you that are here to help on that venture. I believe the next one that's set up is August 5th to continue that type of health forum to bring continued awareness to some of the youth issues that we have. And I think that pretty much covers that month.
All right, Councilmember Gill.
I'll start off. Of course, a lot of stuff going on within the last 3 weeks. A lot of highlights. One of the main things was going back to Washington, D.C. As a chairman of the Soda Beach Flood Agency. We're all put on different committees. There's probably like 10 to 12 different committees, from healthcare to banking and finance to flood protection, transportation, hospitals, homeland security. I mean, there's unbelievable amounts of them. And you have the CEOs of Kaiser, Sutter Health, UC Davis, along with some physicians, neurosurgeons. You have the mayor of Sacramento, Kevin Johnson. You have former assembly members, Dale Steinberg. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on as far as what these people are. And I think our purpose has always been, it's cap to cap, from capital to capital, is that we get divided up into different teams and we're not on the same team. And I think Mary, you and I were probably in about 2 or 3 meetings that were probably together, but the rest of them were all separate. And I was mentioning how Councilmember Buckland and I, we were not even in a single meeting. And I think I saw you maybe one night at a reception or something. That's how these meetings are. But our focus is always twofold. Number one is obviously to go and meet with the folks that are there as far as who they are. But secondly, to come back and push our agenda for our region. And what I'm talking about region is because when we're there, we're visiting with Congressman Garamendi, Congressman Lamalfa, Congressman Barra, and Doris Matsui, Congresswoman Doris Matsui. We're going as a region and we're going as one voice. And there's about 300 of us that actually fill up the halls, and it's amazing. They've been doing it year after year, and I think almost over 25 years that this program's been going on. And the success that we come back is unbelievable. And I know people always say, "Well, what did you get? Did you get some money?" And these trips, I've always said, is they're long-term trips, and slowly by slowly you start seeing the fruits of labor coming across. Because even though we're thousands of miles away, the first question comes up is, how's your negotiations, how's your discussions going with the Indian tribes? Most of these guys knew what was going on, and we get help from Washington, D.C. at just one avenue. Second one was for ourselves, is trying to get additional fundings, whether trying to get additional funds into the current budget or trying to get unallocated, unreserved funds to finish the projects what we're doing. And as we're going to these meetings, people are telling us, you need to do this, you need to do this. So I found the meetings were very, very helpful, the ones that we were able to attend. So I thought it was great. Again, in addition to those, we hit the Senate Appropriations Committee, House committees, so pretty soon you get all committed out. Also attended the welcome reception for the president of Yuba College, GH, very nice guy. Seems like he's a community person. Lives in Yuba City, lives in Happy Park area, which I thought is, everybody talks about actually putting their roots here. He's actually here, so near exactly where he's at. Also spent the entire day with Councilwoman Didball interviewing, made our recommendations to our city manager. Again, like I said, had some wonderful, wonderful candidates, all within the state of California. And I believe we made our recommendation of 3. No matter any one of those 3 that are selected, I think they're going to get the job, up and running immediately. They're very well qualified, so very, very excited with that. Prior to leaving on DC, I had a great, great friend of mine, a relative of mine, a younger brother of mine, passed away. He was gone to New York with his family on spring break, and he was 45 years old, lived here in Yuba City, was the owner of Circle R Irrigation, farmed over 1,000 acres of fruits and nuts, and lived here right here in Live Oak area, and he passed away of a massive heart attack. And just within a few months, 3-4 months, he had a stress test done, and because he did cardio every day, he was absolutely fine. He was an avid golfer at Peachtree, and I think to this day we're still totally shocked that somebody who's that prominent, that well connected to this community, that young, that active, can pass away, and leaves behind a wonderful wife and 2 very young children who will both be graduating, one from elementary school this year and one from high school. So our hearts, my thoughts, prayers goes out to his wife and his family. So Mr. Mayor, I'd like to ask that we close this meeting in his honor and his name tonight. That's all I have.
Thank you. And Councilmember Buckland. I'll try to keep it fairly short. I was born, no. At an early age. I missed the last council meeting due to the fact that I was in Mexico for spring break. Many people think that, oh boy, it must be nice to go down there, sit on a beach. Kind of. I was with a bunch of kids. They weren't drinking, but they were building homes for homeless individuals down in the community just south of the border that many of us are well aware of. It's Tecate. And all the kids get to brag that they go on spring break to the Tecate beer factory. So I don't want any rumors getting out that we actually take them there, that they're in the neighborhood.
The underage kids that we passed this ordinance on?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, it was the adult that was taking them there.
Yes.
But these kids are amazing youth. We had 28 youth. They built 2 homes. They fund these homes. They build them. They put their heart and soul into them, and it's an amazing process to watch these kids show up at early meetings and have absolutely no experience of building a home, and they're able to do that. What we encourage these youth to do is to come back here and become involved in our community and become more active in programs here locally that they can become involved in to help in homelessness and other issues that they might see fit for our area. Also attended the transit meeting. We're fighting. Yuba City is the only one putting up a fight on some changing routes for the buses. We will continue the fight. They're trying to remove the senior center bus stop from a loop activity with Yuba Center Transit, and claiming that our seniors only have to walk some 500 feet away to get to the senior center. I think that's all well and fine. Everybody needs a little bit of exercise, but when it's cold and windy outside and it's wet, they need to have a stop right near that center. So hopefully we can continue that fight. I'll be meeting with the senior group tomorrow, our commission tomorrow, to go over a strategy where we can get more public involved. Also went to the Casa de Esperanza open house. This facility's been open for 37 years, I think, pretty close. That house is at the end of its life. That's all I can tell you. It's over 100 years old. I used to go to the attic to chase out the ghosts out of the attic early in my career as a cop, and they have expanded into the attic now, an entire office complex. It blew me away to see how much they've used that facility, and they have a 6-year plan to replace that facility in our community somewhere. So we are looking for, and they're going to need about 5 acres to be able to do that. Also went to the reception for GH Java Harrypour. Nobody else wanted to try that name.
Oh, I had it down here. I was going to do it. So,
But yeah, GH, you got you got the beginning.
You said
And that got me
it has
over
every
the edge,
vowel in
so.
his name.
But that's great because I think that cooperation with Yuba College is going to continue to grow. He's excited. We're excited to have him in the area, and honestly hope to be able to expand the Yuba City campus in a short period of time. Also, a dear friend of ours, all of ours, and yours, Mayor Shingo Fuji was reelected as mayor of Torii City over in Japan here recently. So we send our congratulations to him. While I was back in Washington, D.C., was able to go with the mayor, got me legally this time into the Pentagon. And we did a very short tour because we were on a fairly short leash trying to get to our airplane. But able to meet incoming ISR commander, Colonel Holgreen, and he should be arriving in our community, I think, by the end of first of June. So we look forward to him being here. Had some of the very same meetings, that have been talked about. So I'm not going to go over them. I thought one of the most interesting ones was a lunch meeting that was had with the entire group. That was the speaker at that was Jack Lew, the Treasury Secretary. Very interesting individual to listen to, especially in person, especially with about a 25-minute message, and certainly put a good perspective on what's going on in Washington and what the current tone is in Washington. There's a lot more cooperation going on the East Coast than what has in the last couple of years. But with that, I really focused on transportation while I was back there, had a number of meetings, looking all the way at rail safety. And for the chief, for our fire chief, one of the discussions we're having is who is going to pay for the training first responders to rail incidents. And the suggestion from our group is trying to put that directly on the shoulders of Union Pacific and the rail carriers. So they can put that together, that training together. Because currently our firefighters have to go to Colorado for training, for live fire training, because we're unable to burn the same material here in a simulated fire in California. So it's a very costly event to be able to send people to. So we're trying to get the rail company to bear that responsibility as they move forward. That's all I have. Thank you.
all right. And I'll try and make mine quick here also. Also attended the reception for GH Harrypour, Java Harrypour. Interesting, his name has every vowel in the alphabet in order. But anyhow, it was good to see him here and his commitment to our community. Had the Sutter Buttes Finance Committee meeting yesterday and the Regional Water Authority meeting with the Executive Director. Attended the Casa de Esperanza open house and then the Cap to Cap meeting. Just wanted to highlight one of the key meetings, the Senate Appropriations meeting, where we met with the staffers that actually had come from Army Corps of Engineers, so they were new in the position, and they asked us if we had any projects that had been authorized that were not appropriated yet, and unfortunately we do have one. The final portion down south of Laurel Avenue, which is about a $35 million project. And they indicated to us that if we could get the information to them quickly, that the deadline had already passed, March 27th, for that to be in the president's budget, but they would work their hardest to get that in the budget. So it's having meetings like that back in Washington that we can't do from here that can help us get funding that otherwise would not happen for years without having those personal meetings back there. So it makes the cost of those trips very valuable when we were able to do that. I had approximately 16 meetings on flood, and it was a very busy trip. I was able to meet with the former wing commander, Phil Stewart, from he's currently stationed at the Pentagon, to meet with him and go over issues about Beale. And then Colonel Jay Green and Jake, the new commander, that will be coming out here in June, enjoyed the tour. It was good to see Jay Green. He was the former group commander at Beale Air Force Base, and so it was good to see him and keep those relationships fresh. And then went to the going away dinner for Colonel Sipowicz, who, interestingly enough, is the colonel that is leaving Beale Air Force Base, going to San Antonio to be in part of the 25th Air Force there. The new commander, which is coming in June, they're crossing. The admiral back at the Pentagon doesn't want to release him yet, so that's why there's a gap here. So, but it was a pleasure getting to meet him also. And I guess that is that. And I'd like to close the meeting in honor of Sonny Calcat, excuse me. And as Cash mentioned, and keep his family in your prayers. With that, meeting is adjourned.